Happy Friday. Welcome back to Better Living. Once again, I'm Stephanie Martinez in for Charity Freeman here at the 2015 Marathon Classic is where we're broadcasting live from today. You can hear the claps behind me. But joining us right now here on set, we have Dr. Bob Estlin with us from Sylvania Vet. Thank you for joining me out here today.
Oh, this is such a pleasure to be out in the outdoors in this great golf tournament. It's just terrific.
Well, I hope you're able to stay around for a little bit. And
I brought my wife, and we're gonna walk the course a little bit and watch some really great golfing.
Well, I'm glad that you're doing that. But while you're here right now, we're going to be talking about first off about the canine influenza.
Yeah, there was a big outbreak several months ago in Chicago, and the good news is that that's dissipating a little bit.
Good.
And what it's done is it's put a lot of emphasis on the canine influenza virus and the vaccine that's available. The strain that was in Chicago is a different strain that's in the vaccine. We don't know if there's cross immunity from the vaccine or not, but it brought to our attention to push harder for the vaccine because that vaccinatable strain can show up, and that's, and we learn how devastating it was when it hits. So we don't think it should be something to be ignored, even though it's not the same strain. We want to protect against this disease because if it rolls into Northwest Ohio, it will be too late to protect your dog because it takes a month to establish immunity. So there are veterinarians that are saying your dogs don't need it because of the fact that it's a different strain. At Sylvania Vet, we require it because we have a lot of dogs in through our daycare and our boarding, as well as our medical surgical cases, and we want our patients protected against really serious disease. Oh,
no, of course you do. And would that be whether it be a puppy or a full-grown dog?
Yes, it would be all dogs. Matter of fact, we started pushing the CIV at the end of our puppy series vaccines, and then at annual wellness visits when the dogs are coming in every year. So we hopefully are getting our population controlled.
Hopefully. So what does that cost for that one particular vaccine?
Well, it's a two-shot series, and each injection in the two-shot series is $22.
Okay, not a bad price.
No, it's not a bad price at all for protection against a disease that can be devastating. 3 to 5% deaths. 70% of the dogs that get CIV have permanent lung damage. This is not something we want to ignore.
So nothing to take lightly.
Right.
Another concern, for us as just residents here in the area, we've been talking and focusing on the algal bloom. Is there anything that we need to know as far as for our pets?
Well, I generally think that if we pay attention to the alerts that come from the health department for the human population, we should just apply those to our pets. So if they're telling us don't drink the water, then your pet should drink the bottled water that we're drinking as well. Other than those alerts, I don't think that we need to be concerned. However, we oftentimes will take our dogs to the park along Lake Erie in those areas, and during the algae bloom, you got to keep them out of the water. You can't let them drink it. We actually had a dog that became very, very ill with liver disease last year. It took us almost 4 months to get this dog better, and it was touch and go that first couple of weeks.
Now, I'm assuming that dog drank the water. Is it okay if it just gets on like their paws, or?
That's a good question, and I'm not sure it is from the perspective of, because they're going to, of course, they're going to lick their paws. Now, yeah, if you walk them in there and they get it on them and you rinse it off, then I'm sure you're okay. But I do think that the littler dogs, the younger dogs, the older dogs, you just got to be careful. The best thing to do is if you're going to you're not going to go swimming in that either. No. So if you're going to walk the beach, just don't take your dog with you, or at least don't go down near the water. And
I'm guessing that I think it's safe to say that canines are a bit more sensitive to such a thing than humans.
Yeah, well, probably it's hard to say. There just isn't that much known, at least that I'm aware of. But the reality is that dogs can be more resistant to certain things than our people, and the doses of things that we have to give to dogs are much higher than the doses that the doctor would have to give to us for, say, an antibiotic or a pain medication. And so it's hard to say if it would be safer for the dog to be exposed than a human or vice versa.
All right, and then as we're picking our vet to take our animals to, how should we go about doing that? What research do we need to do before we go?
Well, I think, going in, taking a tour, meeting the staff, finding out the availability. Location is important, but it's certainly among the least important, I think, because you want to know that you're going to get somebody that's available. But the reality is that one of the most important things to know is the veterinarian inspected by any national organization or even a state organization. In the state of Ohio and the state of Michigan, there are no inspections of veterinary hospitals at this point in time. Ohio is trying to implement some inspections, but we don't know if that's going to happen yet or not. So American Animal Hospital Association certified hospitals, of which Sylvania Vet is one, and then there are only 2 others in Northwest Ohio, are the only ones that are ever inspected. We're inspected every 3 years to meet 900 criterion for standards of excellence across the board, both in communication, customer care, patient care, sterility, all those factors.
Well, now it seems like we would want to seek someone like you out instead of one that's not a part of that.
Well, I would certainly agree with that. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
But I do agree. And
right.
Other things. How do they handle emergencies? Can you come right in? Do you close for lunch? Is there somebody there through the noon hour? How many doctors in the practice? Because a multi-doctor practice can, in all probability, have more equipment, better equipment, and get second opinions at the drop of a hat.
Which I was about to ask, is it good for us to get second opinions on our pets?
I think it's a really good idea when you're dealing with a really complicated case, yes.
All right. Anything else that we need to know on this Friday before you leave us?
Well, what I'd like to do is invite listeners to email me at drbob@sylvaniavet.com any questions that we can then bring on air, so that I've always got fresh material that the audience wants. I will answer any question privately and then pick the best one to put on air.
Dr. Bob, thank you so much. And again, give that email one more time.
It's drbob@sylvaniavet.com.
That's where you need to send those questions. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure meeting you today, and enjoy the tournament.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Anytime. Stay right here on NBC 24. We have more Better Living. We'll be joined by Citizens Advisory when we come back.